Let's start with the news that dropped first. The Raiders just officially cut defensive tackle Broderick Martin, and they did it on injury designation. No big farewell. No thank you post. Just gone. Now you might be thinking, who is Broderick Martin and why does this matter? That is actually the right question, because the answer tells you everything about where this Raiders defense is headed. Broderick Martin came into the NFL as a big, physical run stopper. The man weighed almost 340 pounds. In college at Western Kentucky, he was the kind of guy offensive linemen had nightmares about, absorbing double teams, eating up blockers, and creating lanes for linebackers to blow up running plays in the backfield. He was raw, but the upside was real. That is exactly why the Detroit Lions moved up in the 2023 draft to grab him in the 3rd round. Detroit saw a diamond that just needed some polishing. But the polishing never happened. Injuries kept stacking up. Consistency was impossible to find. Broderick Martin bounced from Detroit to the Kansas City Chiefs, then to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and finally landed in Las Vegas looking for one last shot. The Raiders took a gamble on his rare physical tools, hoping they could unlock something nobody else could. It did not work out. In 2025, Broderick Martin played in just one game with the Steelers before hitting the market again. Now the Raiders have officially moved on. And here is what makes this more than just a roster footnote. This is a direct message from the front office about what kind of defense Las Vegas is trying to build. Think about who the Raiders face twice every single season. Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert. These are two of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Both of them can attack you deep, both of them can beat you with their legs when things break down, and both of them will punish a slow, heavy defensive line all day long. The Raiders know that pure size and strength is no longer enough in today's AFC West. You need speed off the line. You need explosiveness on every single snap. You need players who are available and ready to go for all 4 quarters, not guys who are managing injuries and hoping to stay on the field. Broderick Martin, as talented as he was physically, simply could not give them that. So now Las Vegas is actively searching for the players who can. Expect more moves on the defensive line in the coming weeks. Whether it is through free agency or picking up cuts from other teams as rosters get trimmed before the season, the Raiders are not done reshaping this unit. Not even close. But the defensive overhaul is actually the smallest story here today. Because the real pressure cooker situation in Las Vegas right now involves a 22-year-old kid who is about to get thrown into the fire. And that fire is going to be intense. Who do you think will be the toughest opponent Mendoza faces in his entire rookie year? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Let's see what Raider Nation thinks. The rookie who cannot afford to blink, Fernando Mendoza, is the new face of the Las Vegas Raiders. The moment the Raiders selected him with the 1st overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, everything changed. After years of quarterback instability, failed experiments, and disappointed fan bases, Raider Nation finally had a reason to feel good about the future. But here is the brutal reality nobody wants to talk about. Mendoza might be walking into the toughest situation any rookie quarterback will face in the entire 2026 season. It starts with the schedule. According to recent reports, the Raiders are set to have one of the hardest schedules in the whole NFL this year. That is not a small problem for a first-year starter who has never taken a professional snap under pressure. Look at the opening stretch and try not to wince. Week 1, Mendoza faces the Miami Dolphins. Then come the Los Angeles Chargers. Then the New Orleans Saints. Then Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, all within the first 4 weeks of the season. Before this kid has even had a full month in the NFL, he will already be tested by playoff-caliber defenses, loud road environments, and offensive machines that are designed to expose every single weakness a young quarterback has. And that is just the beginning. Later in the season, the Raiders go up against the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Rams, the Seattle Seahawks, and the San Francisco 49ers. Every single one of those teams knows exactly how to pressure a rookie. Heavy blitzes. Physical coverage at the line. Deep shots designed to make a young quarterback second-guess himself on every single play. Any rookie would struggle with that schedule. Herbert has one of the strongest arms in the league and is dangerous every time he drops back. Every divisional game for Las Vegas will feel like a playoff game in terms of the mental demand it puts on Mendoza. But wait, before you panic, there is actually some real reason for hope here. And it goes beyond just the talent around him. New head coach Clint Kubiak is building an offensive system specifically designed to protect and develop Mendoza at the same time. The plan involves heavy play action, lots of pre-snap movement to create confusion for defenses, and a powerful running game that keeps the ball out of a rookie's hands in the most dangerous moments. And the weapons around Mendoza are genuinely exciting. Brock Bowers has already proven he is one of the most dangerous pass catchers in the NFL. He turns short, safe throws into massive gains after the catch, exactly the kind of play a rookie quarterback can execute with confidence while still moving the chains. Ashton Ginty adds a legitimate threat in the running game, which takes even more heat off the quarterback. And Max Crosby is still the emotional heartbeat of this entire franchise, a defensive force who can single-handedly keep the Raiders in games while the offense finds its footing. The support system is there. The coaching plan is there. The talent is there. Now it all comes down to Mendoza himself, his mental toughness, his ability to process information fast, and his leadership in moments when everything is falling apart around him. Inside the Raiders building, the belief is real. The people who see him every day are convinced they have finally found the quarterback who can change this franchise's entire story. But the next story is the one that could change everything, not just for the season, but for the next decade of Raiders football. And it has nothing to do with what happens on the field. Billion-dollar power shift happening right now while everyone is watching Mendoza take snaps and talking about the defensive rebuild. Something massive is quietly happening behind the scenes of the Raiders organization. Executive Egan Durbin is making a serious power move. According to reports from Heavy.com and Bloomberg, Durbin is leading a group that is set to acquire around 25% of the Las Vegas Raiders by purchasing shares from current minority investors. That is not a small stake. That is a significant chunk of one of the most valuable sports franchises on the entire planet. This story gained even more weight after ESPN previously reported that the Raiders already have a formal succession plan in place, a structured roadmap that would allow Durbin to eventually take majority control of the team if current owner Mark Davis chooses to sell. Davis has said publicly that nothing is changing and that he is not going anywhere. But the moves happening underneath the surface tell a more complicated story. The context matters here. After the passing of Carroll Davis last year, the NFL formally required the Raiders to establish a clear succession plan for the franchise. That requirement lit the fuse on everything that has been building since. And the numbers involved are staggering. The Las Vegas Raiders are currently valued at approximately $7.9 billion. The Las Vegas market, Allegiant Stadium, and the NFL's growing global commercial power mean that number is only going to climb higher. Now add one more name into this conversation: Tom Brady. Brady currently holds a minority ownership stake in the Raiders. He is also understood to be personally close to Durbin's leadership group. That combination has caused enormous speculation that Brady could gain even more influence over the franchise's direction as these ownership changes develop. Think about what that actually means. You have a legendary quarterback, the greatest to ever play the game, potentially gaining real decision-making power in an organization that just drafted its next franchise quarterback. That story writes itself. Mark Davis is 71 years old. He has been a loyal and committed owner. But analysts watching the franchise closely believe the sheer financial value of the team makes a future sale not just possible, but likely in the coming years. The pressure to deliver a winning product before any transition is also real. The Raiders have not won a single playoff game under Davis's ownership, and that fact hangs over everything happening right now. The Raiders are not just rebuilding a roster. They are potentially rebuilding an entire power structure from the ground up. Raider Nation, it is time to weigh, and so here is where we land today. 3 massive stories, all happening at the exact same time. The defensive line is being torn apart and rebuilt from scratch because this team cannot survive the AFC West with slow, injury-prone players. A 22-year-old rookie quarterback is about to face one of the toughest schedules in NFL history with the entire franchise's future riding on his shoulders. And behind the scenes, a billion-dollar ownership shift could completely change who controls this team within the next few years. Here is your comment challenge, and I want real answers below. Which of these 3 situations worries you the most heading into 2026? Is it the defensive rebuild after losing Broderick Martin? Is it the brutal schedule that Mendoza is about to face in year 1? Or is it the quiet power shift happening in the ownership group with Durbin, Davis, and Brady all in the mix? Drop your answer below. And tell me this: do you genuinely believe the Las Vegas Raiders are finally on the right path back to being a real NFL powerhouse? Or is there still too much work left to do before this team can compete with the best? Raider Nation, the comment section is yours. Let's hear it.